This video you will learn how to play Bharata 600 BC, the basic version only. The game also has an advanced version that is not featured in this video. Let's begin with the board setup for 2 players. First, we lay down the map. This board game consists of 16 Mahajanapadas and provinces that are laid out on the map. Provinces have at least one black border and are further divided into inland, harbour and export harbour. We place the coins in the box that is marked up for it. We then place the army cards in the slot that are marked for them right on top. Place them face down. We add the resource modifier cards again in the area that is allotted to them. We add the box of trade objects in the bottom left corner, and we add the VP condition price cards in the right corner. Let's now begin with the player setup. We start with the tokens for the army and the fort. There are 2 tokens for the army. The cylindrical form, and there are 10 forts that each player will have. Here are the items for the player which chooses the red color. Each player then can pick one of the personality cards from the 4 that are shown or available to them. In this case, the player picks one personality card which is a conqueror. That card is handed over to him and the other cards are discarded. We do the same for the green player. She gets her 2 armies, 10 forts and 1 personality card from the green colored deck. Next up is the player's resource tracker. Each player can decide to pick one resource tracker. At the back of the resource tracker is the start location. The first player gets Ujjain and the green player gets Ahichatra. Hand over the resource trackers to each player and then add the resource tracker pegs in there. You'll add 4 for each of the resources that they have, which is 4 iron, 4 wood, 4 food and 4 victory points. We also then add the players' armies and 1 fort in the starting location of the players. Each player draws 2 army cards and keeps them on the resource track. Unless you have a conqueror card, then you draw 3. Now let's look at how to play. On your turn, you can do 2 phases. Phase 1 is resource management. Action 1 is to collect resources. You draw and play 1 resource modifier card. This card applies to all players in the game. This card lets you take 2 resources which you currently do not have. The second action that you can take is to exchange resources. It's an optional action, but here you collect coins by reducing the number of resources that you have. You move the tracker pegs on the player tracker to reflect the exchange that you have just undertaken. This is the exchange rate followed in the game. The next optional action is to trade. You can only trade if you control an export harbour. An export harbour is one that has a blue circle and has dotted line with a ship next to it. You exchange trade objects for coins as per the trade rates shown on the screen. You can trade multiple objects in one turn. The 4th action, also optional, is to buy army cards. You pick the topmost army card from the deck and then place it on your player tracker in either Army 1 or Army 2. Each army card costs 2 coins. You add the 2 coins back to the coins box on the map. Now let's talk about phase 2, which is actions. You can do up to 2 actions per turn, one of them being move. In move, you move 1 army pawn to a neighboring region. You can move to any adjacent region unless it is a Mahajanapada or a region controlled by another player. To move to those regions, you have to conquer them in your next action. You can conquer a region without battle once you move your army pawn into that region. You have to either pay the coins that are mentioned in the circle in that region, or you have to discard army cards worth the strength mentioned in that region if it is a Mahajanapada. You also discard army strength if your opponent player has a fort in that region without an army pawn. You place your fort in that region to mark that it's controlled by you, and you gain victory points equal to the number that is in that circle. You also collect resources, if any, that are in that region. You must immediately make these changes on your player tracker. The next action is a battle. A battle occurs when there are two army pawns in the same region. To battle, both players choose army strength based on the army pawn that they have. Once the player's army strengths are revealed, the winner is decided by the total army strength of the cards. In case of a tie, the defending army wins. If you have two army pawns on the region, you can decide which army strength you want to use, and you can also decide how many cards you want to play for a battle. In this battle, the green player wins. She adds victory points equivalent to the number on the region and also increases the resources that she collects. Since red is the loser and he has no army cards for army 2, the army pawn is moved away, his fort taken away, and corresponding victory points reduced. We saw earlier, you gain victory points by conquering regions. You also gain victory points by achieving victory point conditions. As the green player controls 4 harbors, she earns 1 victory point. She achieves this victory point condition and hence has to pick one card, which lets her double her resources in this case. She makes the changes on her player tracker. Another victory point condition is by conquering 6 different regions. The first player to score 25 victory points is declared the winner. This concludes the video of how to play Bharata 600 BC. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.